Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton are facing disciplinary action. We've got the backstage reaction to their off-script SmackDown promo last week, and a hardcore match has been announced for WrestleMania. Stay tuned for all the wrestling news. Prior to last night's SmackDown, footage emerged of Charlotte Flair attacking Tiffany Stratton in the parking lot before SmackDown. The parking lot, I tell you, is one of the most dangerous places in the entire history of WWE. Thank God they weren't in the NXT one, though.
It feels like we're going back to like PS2 levels. Like the car park was always dangerous in the PS2 games, right?
Oh, I love that in Here Comes the Pain. That was one of the best sort of thing, a backstage brawl. There was a big backstage brawl. There was a couple of security guards there that pulled Charlotte away. It was very reminiscent of the Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens spot from Bad Blood.
Yeah, Charlotte's been lying in wait. I'll teach you to turn a whole audience against me. And she's jumped out and so it's sort of, it's not unexpected. It's not unexpected, no.
I thought it was a nice way to do the angle. Kevin Owens was actually speaking about that on Chris Van Vliet's Insight this week, saying that it was Triple H's idea to do the angle at Bad Blood. They're kind of recapturing that sort of, that's towing the line of what is reality and what's not, because after, and we'll get on to it in a minute, after last week's shoot promo, there is a lot of like, oh, these two don't really like each other, and doing a shot where there is no cameras about apart from the fans is a really fun way to keep that line.
Yeah, it skirts it, right?
That line.
It sort of it blurs it a bit, and that's what we need. It's suspension of disbelief.
But it was announced on SmackDown itself by the commentary team that Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton will both face disciplinary action in regards to both the brawl and their comments last week. In fact, it was said that their comments crossed the line last week, which I definitely think they did on a personal level for each of them.
But it was kind of, it was dramatic and it was shocking, and it was everything wrestling should be in a way.
What I'm finding interesting is obviously they're saying that their comments last week crossed the line and stuff. They edited a lot of the personal comments out off the show last week on highlights, but they are still referencing it here, which is a very interesting way to go about it. And again, keep towing that line of what is real, what's not real, what is allowed on TV, what's not. But this was a really fun angle to, I guess, kick off the show, and then before the show.
And then Charlotte got sent home as well.
Charlotte did indeed get sent home. So it's looking like there's a lot of heat going into this WrestleMania match now, when maybe there wasn't prior to last week's. But turning our heads to last week's SmackDown, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, a source in the company told them that Charlotte has been trying to rattle Tiffany. They said standard stuff. Cena does it, Randy does it, young talent coming up, you just put a little heat on them as a test and get them to either sink or swim. The sink or swim aspect, that was a report coming out of their dual split screen
sort
promo.
Of the we're talking over satellite promo.
Yeah. And the source continued by saying that Charlotte has effed up this whole program by not adjusting, of course, in reference to the fact that the original plan saw Charlotte as the face, which, come on, guys.
Well, according to their source, in regard to last week, the person said that Charlotte got stuck and that the Chicago crowd ate her up because they could see she's doing more than business and she's trying to embarrass Tiffany. The source notes that the crowd reaction did indeed get to Flair.
Yeah. I mean, we could see that.
Yeah, she gets visibly rattled by it.
In fact, to the point where she goes, what do you want me to say? Like, there is nothing she could have said.
I can't hear you over all the booze, guys. It's sort of, it was very awkward and very kind of just off vibe.
It was off. I mean, great popcorn car crash TV, but similarly, another source told the Observer that once Charlotte let the fans get to her, that's where it fell apart. She gave up and said the line, "Tiffany, you can have the last word," because she was done with the fans at that point. Prior to that comment by Flair, though, according to the report, the promo had been going as the script had been planned. It continues by saying the 25-year-old drinker comment was scripted. The 4-3 Mania record line was scripted. Tiff stumbled over a word, and that's when Charlotte took a personal shot at Tiffany's voice. That was a shoot. 16 more days of being called a Nepo baby was in the script, but Charlotte screaming Nepo Queen was not. Now, earlier in the week, we saw WrestleVotes coming out with what the original plan was meant to be. A lot of crossover there.
Yeah.
It looks just like they went, nah, we don't need the script. We'll touch on it slightly.
Yeah, more of this. More of this.
Yeah.
More of it.
To be fair, it does
Keep
make
making
it...
Tiffy bigger than Charlotte on posters as well. just keep doing it.
Increasing her size. Every leg gets
She's
an increase
just further
in size.
and further up the poster.
I did really enjoy part of the segment last week. Obviously, we were talking about it here. There was a lot of chaos ensuing around it. There was certain lines that they did cross.
Wade Barrett's facial reactions to a lot of it.
Yeah, he looked uncomfortable for the majority of that entire segment. But for the most part, it has done the job, even if they clearly don't like each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's sometimes you have to work with people you don't like, right? Especially in wrestling, you hear these stories all the time. People have got to work together. They might hate each other's guts, but when the bell rings, or when they've got to be out in front of cameras, you've got to
hopefully it will make magic, though, because the problem I have right now in envisioning this match is that really, with the personal rivalry at stake, they should not be doing the athletic performances that they are going for.
Let's just hang an octagon above the ring.
Put them in Bloodsport. There's enough WWE talent on that bloody show as it is. Put them on Bloodsport as well. Looking though over to AEW and former AEW stars, actually, Saraya has commented on her run there. She's obviously just recently left AEW and has been doing the interview rounds and discussing both her upcoming book or her release book, I should say, and her run in AEW. But speaking to Muscle Man Malcolm, she did say that she felt like she wasn't giving it her all.
She said, if I do wrestle again, I'm going to take this year to step outside of it because I felt like I wasn't giving it my entire all these past couple of years. I know that I was frustrated with myself. I know that I could be better than that. So I'm going to go back, relearn my life again. And then she also revealed that she's planning to train with Natalia at Natalia's training school, which Natalia trains everybody. Natalia is like the fountain of knowledge.
She is, and it's like everyone seems to go through the new heart dungeon.
Just sort of goes like, oh, Natalia, and it's like she's done so much.
She's so good. She is very, very good. So this is maybe a great step in the path for Saraya, like going in sort of relearning wrestling in this what her new career is after, because obviously her AEW run, while there were positives to it,
there were standout moments, but it did feel like they didn't quite know what to do with her at points.
It very much was like, hey, we are signing you because you want to come back to wrestling and you're not being cleared elsewhere. She had that world title win at Wembley, which was a great moment for her. She's in front of her home crowd, she's in front of her family, and after that it kind of fell flat. I know she's been pushing, I'd go back to WWE. And maybe this is what she's trying to do here. Go through Natalia, get those reps in with a WWE associated school, kind of someone who's there. It kind of would make sense. But next week, Sam, it's WrestleMania. WrestleMania week start. I mean, our
Get
WrestleMania
ready to become nocturnal, British wrestling fans.
Staying up all hours of the night. Our WrestleMania week coverage starts pretty much today with content going out on the channel, but turning our heads to next weekend. Obviously, the big show itself. Big show's not on the card, but a big match is. It's Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. I'm looking forward to this one.
Well, you dangled Big Show, and now you're telling me that Big Show's not going to be there.
Hey, look, the last time he wasn't advertised, well, no, not the last time. There was a time where he wasn't advertised for WrestleMania and he had a match afterwards with the man we're about to talk about, Drew McIntyre. So who knows? He could turn up.
Hopefully shaven, looking like King Kong Bundy again.
Completely bald. That was creepy. He was like a big baby. It was made official on last night's SmackDown, though, that Drew and Damian Priest will have their match at WrestleMania. The match was originally announced on social media prior to SmackDown, just as your bog standard. Here you go. They're going to have a fight. But then it's been turned into a Sin City street fight. How does that differ from any other street fight?
So
what makes it Sin City?
Under the old regime, you would have various associated things with said city around the ring. Now, I don't think presentation has really changed that much, so I'm assuming it's going to be a street fight. Surprise, surprise. But there's probably going to be a blackjack table.
And
there's probably going to be some chips in places. And there's going to be various casino-themed things in and around the ring that Priest is probably going to get hurled through. And maybe some glass, considering what it's done to Drew's eye.
Exactly. So that was the big question mark over this match, was would it actually happen because of Drew's injury to his eye? He's been sporting that eye patch ever since the show in London, where he got put into a real glass windscreen.
Through a car windscreen,
Yeah, and last night he came out to the ring, he attacked Priest from behind, delivered a promo, and revealed that he was 100% cleared from his eye injury, removing the eye patch to show his healed eye. His eye is fully healed.
They didn't do the Sandman spot, sadly. I think we could have done that.
Yeah.
We could have had him come down and then it reveals that he's not blind.
He's not blind.
Yeah.
And that could have been a fun segment, having Drew just fully just pretending to be completely blind, like Daredevil. That would have been a fun way to do it. I'm looking forward to that match though.
Oh yeah. I think
Who's winning?
Now with the stipulation, I'm looking forward to it more. I want Drew to win.
Yeah.
I want Drew to absolutely obliterate Priest, turn him into toothpaste.
Always backing Drew. You can't not back Drew. As I said, we've got lots of WrestleMania content coming out on the channel. One that I'm very excited about tomorrow at 6 p.m. It is WrestleMania Matches, Moments, Magic. It's a brand new documentary that the team's been working on. It is very, very good. I'm very, very proud of it. So check that out. 6 p.m. tomorrow night, and we will see you later on for more wrestling news.